the reviews for this episode, I tell you guys, wow. And I do mean wow. It's funny how, because my review, what I'm about to say about this episode of She-Hulk, is vastly different than what everybody else, the consensus, the general consensus is about this episode. So, if you don't know, as you see the title, this is the review for She-Hulk, episode 3, and titled "The People versus Emil Blonsky." Yeah, this really was a very interesting episode. Now, would I admit, was this a perfect episode? No. Was this episode poorly structured? Yes. It was a lot. It was a lot of things that could have been done better, but there was a lot of things I did like about the episode. It still entertained me for the most part. Was there stuff that I found wrong with it? Yes, but let me give you a synopsis, then we get into it. She-Hulk represents Emil Blonsky, aka the Abomination, but his parole hearing doesn't go as planned. So, this is the episode where Wong and a certain celebrity make a cameo appearance that's basically we know now that exists in the MCU. So basically, this episode is actually about the parole. We also got MCU debut in this episode too. But yeah, so this episode basically is the trial. This is about the parole hearing, and it was funny how the people that the parolees, the people that could decide whether or not he get paroled, they would thought it was a foregone conclusion, right? They thought it was a foregone conclusion. They like, yeah, this is gonna be quick, because we all know that the video of Blonsky basically in the Fight Club from Shang-Chi has surfaced, and now that they basically argument is, why should we get him parole when he's clearly shown that he could get out, break out of containment, out of jail? But Jennifer's argument, after being told by Blonsky that it was basically Wong who forced him out, and then he was the one persisted to come back, to jail to serve out his term, she contacts Wong, gets a hold of Wong. Wong makes his appearance in this episode. It was the fourth brawl. This is the episode when she was in the car and she broke the fourth wall, saying that this is not going to be one on cameos every day of the week type of shows, that the show is about her. But yeah, so she basically she represents the case and tries. Though the part that doesn't go to plan is that it takes a minute for Juan to get there. They do make reference. There is a reference to Spider-Man: Far From Home. I like that little reference. That reference obviously comes from Wong. I'm laughing because his is one scene where they like, you do realize you just so and so, and he like, I have to go. I'm like, yeah, you better get out of there, buddy. You just admit the fault. But yeah, so coincided with this, the little sub part is Adrian Chase. For my Arrow fans who played Prometheus, I forgot his name in what his character's name is here in She-Hulk, so I'm calling him Adrian Chase just for now. But he has to represent a client who so happens to be Jennifer's ex-colleague, who basically got into it with, I don't know if you guys seen it or not, She-Hulk, you should have seen that a certain rapper, or I don't know why I put it in quotations, a rapper makes their appearance in She-Hulk, and this is the episode she makes their appearance in. And by she, I wasn't gonna say who it was, but because she's part of the subplot, I have to. She, as in Megan Thee Stallion. Megan Thee Stallion makes her appearance, and not just a one scene cameo appearance. She's actually in quite a couple of scenes. One of which we get if you remember from the trailers where this is the episode also where that from the trailers where you saw the guy with the judge hitting the gavel, and then it turns into the elderly lady, elf looking lady. This is the episode we found out in this episode. This elderly elf looking lady is an Asgardian elf with the power to shapeshift. So Jennifer S. colleague is suing her because she basically transformed into Megan Thee Stallion driving a Passat. And they're like, did you really? And I just love how they kept digging. You really thought you could pull Megan Thee Stallion? He was like, well, yeah, sure. Like, you see how narcissistic and delusional he is, and he's just like, yeah, sure, you know. And they like, she drove a Passat. Why would Megan Thee Stallion drive a Passat? Like the LeBron James meme. Like, what did you mean? Like, she drove a Passat. But yeah, see, the thing is, I'm easily amused. So the slightest bit of thing, it might like I watched a lot of people's reviews on this episode. Tyrone Madness for one. I read a lot of comments, and people like Tyrone Madness said like the jokes was hokey, and so people said other people were saying that there was just downright stupid jokes, like none of it was funny. People said that this was the worst episode ever. I was easily entertained. So like I honestly, it might not have been funny, but the scene where the real Megan Thee Stallion just randomly was there at one of the court hearings for no reason at all, and she just shot it out with just being Megan Thee Stallion, I was just like, I actually just laughed, like, why was she here? Like, if anything, like, maybe nothing she said was funny, but just her random appearance there it was like no subtext on why she was there. She just randomly was there, I guess, because this lady impersonated her. And, it was just funny. I like the scene where they dug into the asshole ex-colleague, how that was the only way to actually win the case was to prove that he was really delusional, and to win his case, he actually had to be proven he was delusional enough to believe that he could pull Megan Thee Stallion. And Jennifer was the person who helped. This episode was good. I mean, it was okay. It wasn't the greatest. I really admit that, because it did have its faults. I didn't like the fact that the CGI for She-Hulk looked wonky a lot of the time throughout this episode. I didn't like the pacing. Like, three episodes in, I got to pull it up right here. Every episode is like 30-something minutes, but it's really 20-something minutes, because the episode ends around the 27, 28, 29 minute mark, and the rest is just credits and then the post-credit scenes. So it's like, it's really not a full. These episodes need to be longer because they're rushed. Is basically what I'm trying to insinuate. So I don't like the fact that the CGI was wonky. It felt rushed, and I don't like what they're doing with Blonsky. I really did not like that. That really made me angry. The fact that they try to basically make it sound like he's a redemption arc. Though, like I said, this is just the third episode. They could turn it around with Blonsky. This all could just be a ploy of his, and he'd go back to being Abomination villain like the comic books. But like right now, with his return, he's pretty much. They pretty much writing him as a tragic tale of he was misused by the government, and that's pretty much how that's one of the ways he wins this case. She proves that he was misused by the government, and then his escape was because somebody else forced him out against his will. And I mean, they was like, well, how do we know he's just not going to abomination out? And he shows that he too, like Hulk and She-Hulk, has gained more control over the Hulk, over his Hulk or abomination form, and that he actually can, control it and won't actually just go homicidal maniac, I guess. But yeah, those are the three major things I didn't like. I didn't like the CGI for She-Hulk was atrocious in this episode. I don't think any part of She-Hulk's appearance in this episode looked good. It seemed like when they cleaned up the CGI, we could tell like what episode was too late in the production to clear up and what episodes they could. But and this looked like it's going to be one of the many episodes that probably too late in the production to clean up the CGI. Because the CGI for She-Hulk looked good in the first two episodes, but here it just looked wonky as hell. I mean, it just looked weird. Like you could tell she was CGI. Like I know Hulk is CGI, but he looks like he could be actually in the real world. But you could tell she was CGI. There's a post-credit scene. It's just more fun with Megan Thee Stallion, and it was just like really, it was just a way to get her. It was really just a way to get the end of the show with that. The end of the show with only way the Megan Thee Stallion show with Megan Thee Stallion in it can end with one of her songs and She-Hulk twerking. I was just like, whoa, okay. And I do like how they kind of get meta with it. I gotta admit, I do like that when she was like, I would kill for you, Megan Thee Stallion. And she said, Megan was like, dial it back. It's like, whoa, you just got overboard. I was like, what? And, but I was just like, yeah, it was good fun. I come to this show, I expect comedy. This is like a dramedy, or this is I wouldn't even say a dramedy. It was like a sitcom. This is like a sitcom comedy, and it has to be because she's a character that breaks the fourth wall. So I don't expect too much seriousness. But could it be better? Yes. I almost forgot before I end this episode. There is the debut of the Wrecking Crew, and that was one of the things too I didn't like. But it was this more of a nitpick. But I didn't like the fact that there was for my Hulk shows, even with She-Hulk, I would like some type of punchy Hulk out action, and we only got that in the last couple of minutes, but the thing that made up for it a little bit was that in the scene where we got her actually fighting some people, that was the MCU debut of the Wrecking Crew. But yeah, I'm gonna give this episode a 7 out of 10 big ups. I know most people would give this like a 1 or a 2. They would give this the worst ever, but I'm giving it a 7 because it was okay. I did like it. I did laugh a lot, and I give it a 7 because I wasn't just sitting here like this. Like I wasn't sitting here with my hand on my cheek, bored out of my mind. I enjoyed myself. So I have to give it based off of my enjoyment. That's why I'm giving it a 7. But you let me know what you thought in the comments down below. And if you enjoyed this, you hit this button right there in the upper right corner for all of my reviews. And if you enjoyed this video so much you want to support the channel, all you gotta do is hit those buttons. And as always, hit any one of these videos for more of my amazing content. But don't go anywhere because I got reactions, reviews coming your way along with gameplay. So peace out.